a whopping sum of $325,000 and counting raised for Mezam County during Sunday's award draft. In one more month, it will be 5 years since French Cameroon declared war on Ambazonia. How have the Ambazonian restoration forces measured up so far? The interim government says her position on school resumption hasn't changed. Rockets rock Kabul International Airport. Manchester United confirms agreement for the transfer of Cristiano Ronaldo. These stories and more in this newscast. Please stay tuned.
Don't you hate it when that happens to you? When it does, you need this and this and this. When it happens to me, I always know where to go. When you've got professionals on your side, your problems don't stand a chance. What are you waiting for? Contact them today and let them take care of your problems.
Welcome to ABC News. I'm Cynthia Williams. Ambazonians did it again on Sunday, this time in Mezam. The Zoom meeting was filled up and others glued on ABC and social media, anxious to draft for Mezam. The theme was to make Mezam great, and that's exactly what happened. A whopping $325,000 and counting was the amount raised Sunday night for Mezam, an amount that should be sending a message to French Cameroon authorities that Ambazonia is not about to give up on the war. Comfort Confer has the full story.
The last flyer announcing the end of the Ambazonia war draft for the Great Mezam County surfaced with a loud sounding "Thank you, Ambazonia! Draft for your freedom," as Southern Cameroonians did it again the week that just ended. Mezam County realized a whopping $325,570 on Sunday night. The eager-to-give atmosphere in the virtual fundraising arena was an indication that it was all going to be good. The speeches said it all, as the LGA chairpersons, the county chairperson, and His Excellency Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako spoke the same language of determination to recuperate Ambazonia, the land of their birth. ABC Amba News was observing the activities, and they caught interesting but heavily loaded messages like, and I quote, "We have invited La République to Cameroon to table, and they have refused to come. The only language they understand is smoke, and we are going to smoke them out of our land. Not drafting is not helping. Draft for your freedom," end of quote. And the president, the vice president, Dr. Harrison Ken Abongwa, described the CIC Dr. Sako as the person who has reduced the word table to taboo in La République du Cameroun. President Sako opened his speech by thanking Ambazonians for their birthday wishes to him. Turning back to business, he observed a minute silence in honor of Margaret, who was murdered by the Carlos forces of occupation. He further pointed out that La République is trying hard to tag Southern Cameroonians terrorists, to escape the Swiss-led negotiation, thus the cowardly attacks on innocent civilians like the recent one in Balinyonga, where they invaded the church in broad daylight. According to the president, the name Bamenda is interchangeable with change and victory, given its courageous nature that is compared to none. The logical end to this struggle is nothing less than a free Ambazonia. So let us draft, and draft, he added. Many other patriotic Ambazonians in the Zoom meeting and those watching live through Facebook and YouTube echoed the message that Bamenda was reborn that night, and that the activities on the ground are going to prove it in the days ahead. ABC Amba News concluded, after closely observing the award week that just ended, that Ambazonians have attained psychological freedom from the political impasse that had held them hostage for over half a century. With the mindset of, in quotes, Ambazonia must be free, the question remains, is it not time for England, Germany, the United States of America, and the Office of the United Nations Organization under Mr. Antonio Guterres to take the next step after their unanimous call for France through La République de Cameroon to the Swiss-led negotiation have been landing on deaf ears? Are they aware that this unnecessary war is breeding hundreds of thousands of 21st century illiterates emanating from Ambazonia? Comfort Convo on Prime Reports with ABC Amba News.
Coming out of the draft, ABC Amba News spoke with Theo Fosi, the chairman of Mezam County, and he said he is now confident that going forward, Mezam will take its rightful place in the struggle as concerns battles against La République du Cameroun. Let's hear him.
Thank you so much for having me in this interview. And I want to say, well, first of all, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart the entire Mezam community and all the LGAs that constitute Mezam, the great Mezam, for turning out massively to show their commitment to prosecute this struggle to the finish. I think the figures actually spoke for itself yesterday from the turnout. And I think it's because the people of Mezam understand exactly what this struggle is all about. So I think that is an indication. It's an indication and it's a proof that we are not slowing down and we are not taking anything for granted. And I think it was a very, very positive turnout. And I'm so proud of my people. I'm so proud of sons and daughters of Mezam for turning out so massively to support this draft. I want to seize this opportunity to thank the team, the resource mobilization team, especially me, Joe, and Ma Irene, for a job well done. I mean, the entire team, the entire executive of Mezam. I think we did a marvelous job. We did it bigly, and I'm so proud to be a member of this executive. I'm so proud and I'm so privileged to be the chair for Mezam. Oh yeah, the figures, quite encouraging, quite encouraging. To be honest with you, I at least expected this turnout, and I at least expected the figures to be this high, owing to what has been going on. I mean, recently in Mezam, because for some time now, Mezam people thought that nothing was happening, but I think they knew quite well, and in deep in them, that we were silent but strategizing. So the figures is actually representative of the mindset of the Mezam people. And the figures, again, I think, let me throw that out. 325,570, that's the figure that we got. almost half of this money, I think almost half of this money is already cashed. And the other ones will be coming in pretty soon, because we gave strict instructions that this year, we are not supposed to hold the money back. We're not supposed to base on pledges. We want cash. And with the cash coming in this figure, I think we are already halfway gone. And I think this is just an amazing reassurance of our result. I think everybody will agree with me that there are challenges. I mean, the challenges are overwhelming sometimes, but I think we are up to the task. And yes, I took over from our great Margaret. This is an amazing lady. I'm so proud of her for the marvelous job that she did. And I think that she set an example for any other chair that will be coming in. God forbid we don't have so many chairs before we get to prayer. But I think she set a very, very good example for leadership and dedicated true daughters of Mezam. And I think I took over that responsibility, unfortunately without that rich experience, but I've tapped a lot from her. Being her vice for the time that she was serving, I think I learned a lot from her, and stepping into her shoes now, I just gonna put into action some of the plans, some of the route that she used, and some of the focus that she had. I'm gonna put them into practice and execute them. And I will also come in with my own plan of action as an individual. And I think everything is in place. But I stand here again today to reassure people of Mezam and people of Ambazonia that all these kidnappers, and I think with me at the helm now in Mezam, I'll put everything in place. I mean, everything in place at my disposal to first target these bad seeds that are causing a lot of damage to this struggle. I will have to do everything I can to curb, if not to wipe out this kidnapping that is happening in Mezam. And I think this is the biggest challenge we have. And I must bring to your attention that as far as the Mezam structure is concerned, we have the administrative structure and we have the defense structure, and we work closely, we work in collaboration. And I will tell you what, just like I mentioned before, that even though Mezam has been silent, especially upstation that you're talking about, yes, there've been basically inactivity in Bamenda Center and upstation, and that is for strategic reasons. So again, I think this is not the right forum for me to give details about what is in place as far as security is concerned, but I can reassure Mezamites that the plan that is in place is a workable plan, it's a very feasible plan, and it's a plan that will deliver.
If only they knew. One more month and it will make exactly 5 years since the Ambazonia conflict started. How has the Ambazonia Restoration Forces performed so far? In this report, Mike Fusey reports that the Restoration Forces have only gotten better with each passing day. They are more determined, better equipped, more experienced, and more motivated than the French Cameroon army, whose morale is at its lowest. The French Cameroon's army's low morale isn't coming from any difficulties they encounter in Ambazonia. It's coming from the fact that they see this as an unnecessary, useless war. Again, Mike Fusey reports.
At the start of the Ambazonian War of Independence declared by the mentally demented Paul Biya, La République du Cameroon had declared that the war would take but 2 weeks for them to beat back what they thought at the time was simply an uprising. If only they knew. It is now 4 years and counting, and with each passing day, the Ambazonian restoration fighters are only getting more experienced, more equipped, more determined, and more motivated owing to the numerous victories they keep scoring against the poorly trained and unmotivated La République du Cameroon scout soldiers. In the past week, we saw the dexterity and bravery of the Ambazonian restoration fighters in full display. In Fako, we saw General Sagat giving a good thrashing to the genocidal forces of La République du Cameroon. In Santa, General Okoro sent them running for their lives. In Bali, where La République du Cameroon had deployed a 200-man squad to take down General Grandpa, they were given a humiliating defeat and were compelled to withdraw in shame. In their frustration, they took their anger against innocent civilians in a Presbyterian church in Taka, Bali, where a female worshipper was brutally murdered in the church, and the pastor was lucky to escape with only a wound to the hand. We also saw Field Marshal No Pity in Oku, where he stormed to enforce the respect of our Monday ghost towns, which had previously been violated with impunity in that town. La République du Cameroon soldiers who were in the area quickly dropped their weapons and fled for their lives. The house of the colonial mayor, who had taken to his heels on hearing of the approach of No Pity, was set ablaze. We also saw No Pity in action somewhere in Nwa, where we saw the deployment of the latest tool in the arsenal of our restoration fighters. An RPG was used to destroy a hideout of the criminal soldiers of La République du Cameroon. It should be noted that this deployment was only a test of this new tool, which in the days ahead will be in regular use throughout the territory of Ambazonia. In the past week, it was also announced that the Field Marshal of Lobialem had released the newest of his many inventions, a rocket launcher type weapon capable of taking down an armored car and even shooting down a fighter plane. Going forward, the message is clear. The restoration of the independence of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia is becoming more and more certain. Speaking to ABC Amba TV, General No Pity sent this message to the citizens of La République du Cameroon. We don't like killing these poorly trained boys who are sent into our territory. But if we don't kill them, they will kill us. So if you love your son, or daughter, or father, or uncle, or brother who serves in the military of La République du Cameroon, tell them not to come to Ambazonia because we will kill them. Gone are those days when the armored car was considered a safe means of traverse through the territory of Ambazonia. With the acquisition of these latest tools, climbing into an armored car for the purpose of violating the territorial boundaries of Ambazonia will be tantamount to committing suicide. This is the message that is being sent to both the citizens and soldiers of La République du Cameroon. To them that have ears, let them hear. Mike Fizzy for Prime Report on ABC Amba News.
As schools gear up towards resumption, the interim government has stated categorically that her position on schools resumption in Ambazonia remains unchanged. Parents and school proprietors would have to determine for themselves if it is safe to operate their schools and to send their kids to school. In a brief chat with the Secretary of Education at the interim government, he said Ambazonians should be hopeful that after this is all said and done, the future of Ambazonian education will be much better than today. Let's watch.
Fellow Ambazonians, I want to reiterate through the Department of Education and Strategic Collaboration, the position of this government as far as school resumption 2021 and 2022 is concerned. Our position has remained the same, that it is not safe for children to go to school at this time. And these are some of the reasons why. I understand out there, many people are having a lot of concerns. There've been questions back and forth, but we want to let everybody know that the whole reason why we are at war today is because of our educational system. The government of La Republic have continued to invade our schools, rape, burn, and murder our children. There are so many cases out there that you can cite from. Another main reason, which is a concern to the interim government, is La Republic soldiers have been going door to door, targeting our youths, youths of school-going age, and killing them. We still have students, teachers in jail. This is a very concerning issue to the interim government. And at this point, the interim government position is we cannot guarantee the security of these children in schools. We do understand that a lot of people out there are clamoring for this, but it is not safe. It is not safe at all. We have continued to call on the United Nations Security Council to create a buffer zone that can enable children go to school. And until that is done, we are reiterating our position that it is dangerous, it is not safe for children to go to school at this time. And moreover, the reason we are at war, one was because the French government sent French teachers to our schools. They imposed their curriculum on us. That has not changed. They continue to do that with impunity, despite all attempts to let them know they have not changed. So therefore, based on some of these reasons, we are saying that it is not yet safe to go to school at this time. Let me be very clear. In some of the areas that I had hit, parents and our people have organized community schools to be run by them. But this has not even gone down well because still the same military government, still the same La Republic have come in and have burned some of these schools, have killed some of these children. So it remains unsafe. But at this time, we're equally telling parents that it is up to you. If you think it's safe for you, okay, you can do that. But we at the interim government continue to value the lives of our brothers and sisters who are some in the bushes, some in refugee camps, and it's not safe at this time. So we are therefore telling all Ambazonians that the position of the interim government, and let me repeat again, our position is that it's not safe at this time to go to school because we cannot guarantee your security. The Department of Education and Strategic Collaboration have put together a sounding curriculum that stands the test of time for our people. And we have shared this curriculum with UNESCO. We have equally partnered with UNESCO, have several meetings with them to see what they could do to assist our people. There's some information that has been shared between our department and UNESCO. But I would tell you that they have been dragging their feet because we did a critic on some of the materials that was sent to our department and to see how we can implement some of the material that they share with us. But unfortunately, like I tell you, it is so unsafe down there to implement some of these programs. However, the department has developed some apps that in the near future we're going to be sharing this app out that can help those who are in the bushes, those who are in the refugee camps, to be able to access some quality education. So these are some of the things that we're doing, and there are some programs that are being developed that in the near future, within the next month or so, some of these programs will be released to Ambazonians. The whole reason why we're where we are today is because some of the type of education that our people acquired have no basis, have no meaning. You find students who graduate from university and end up as truck pushers or bike riders on the streets. So the kind of education that this government is bringing is an education type where when you graduate from school, you'll be able to be productive in society. You contribute to nation building. You'll be able to, it's job oriented, let me put it this way. When you come out of school, you're not going to be wanting around the streets. You're not going to be running out of the country because your skills are not there. So we are going to build on the skills of our people in order to develop our nation. Remember, the backbone of any country is its educational structure. Some of us who are out of the country in different countries, we are there because of the foundation of the country. Take for example the United States. Some of these countries flourish because of the way they design their educational system. And when you do it right, you have a better nation. And I think that Ambazonia educational system is going to be that kind of educational system where everyone will cherish, everyone will love it, and it will be very productive. Most of what we intend to do is to partner with bigger nations because, again, we have the Anglo-Saxon type system. We're Anglophones. We are Southern Cameroonians. And we have our culture, our system, our British. We emanated our education system from the British. Those are the people who colonized us. Let me put it this way. And the structure in which we have developed our curriculum is such that most of our students are going to be competitive around the world. And this is why we are at war to take this back. This has to be done, and we'll do it.
Several rockets were fired at Kabul's international airport on Monday, August 30th, a day before the deadline for U.S. troops to pull out of Afghanistan. The White House, which confirmed the attack, said that evacuation operations at the airport were uninterrupted by the attacks, adding that President Joe Biden was briefed about the latest rocket attack aimed at the Hamid Karzai Airport in Kabul. The United States airlifted about 1,200 people from Kabul on Sunday, the White House says, as the massive evacuation from Afghanistan enters its final day. The European Union should provide financial support to countries neighboring Afghanistan to help them manage refugees fleeing the Taliban, the bloc's foreign policy chief said in an interview. We will have to increase cooperation with the neighboring countries to resolve issues related to Afghanistan. We must help them with the first refugee wave, Joseph Borrell told Italy's Corriere della Sera newspaper. Afghans fleeing the country are not going to reach Rome in the first place, but maybe Tashkent in Uzbekistan. We need to help those countries that will be on the front line. Meanwhile, Russia has proposed an international conference to rebuild Afghanistan's economy following the Taliban's takeover of the country and the ensuing wave of migrations. All the wealthy countries of the world must meet with representatives of the new Afghan authorities to discuss issues of economic and social reconstruction. Moscow's Afghanistan envoy Samir Kabulov said on state television. Kabulov said he saw countries that had deployed troops in Afghanistan as first in line for such efforts, saying this is a question of honor and conscience. However, he also clarified that the conference would not mean leaving the money to the Taliban, but said the money was needed to support the national currency. For example, 1 in 3 Afghans are going hungry, and more than 500,000 people have been displaced by conflict since January. We will continue to bring you updates. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Thursday warned the Security Council that the conflict in Ethiopia is spreading beyond the northern Tigray region and that a humanitarian catastrophe is unfolding. Our correspondent from Lagos, Nigeria, Eunice Momo, reports.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned the Security Council on Thursday that the conflict in Ethiopia has spread beyond the northern Tigray region and a humanitarian catastrophe is unfolding before our eyes. Ethiopia has been embroiled in the conflict that fled 9 months ago in Tigray and which has spread to other areas. The government has also struggled to contain other outbreaks of ethnic and political violence over land and resources.
Thank you for convening this meeting on the situation in Ethiopia, a matter that is increasingly preoccupying the African continent and the wider international community. A military confrontation, which started some 10 months ago in the northern region of Tigray, is spreading, and the level of human suffering is growing, with serious political, economic, and humanitarian implications for Ethiopia and the broader region. All parties must recognize a simple truth: there is no military solution.
Gunmen killed at least 150 people last week in western Ethiopia in an attack by an armed group against local residents, the state-appointed Ethiopian Human Rights Commission said on Thursday. Inflammatory rhetoric and ethnic profiling are tearing apart the social fabric of the country. Guterres told the 15-member Security Council all parties must immediately end hostilities without preconditions and seize the opportunity to negotiate a lasting ceasefire.
First, calling on all parties to immediately cease hostilities. Second, ensuring a commitment for unrestricted humanitarian access everywhere and fully re-establishing of public services. Third, creating the conditions for the start of an Ethiopian-led political dialogue to find a solution to this crisis. These steps are essential for 2 critical reasons. First, the unity of Ethiopia and the stability of the region are at stake, and they are very important.
The United States called out the Ethiopian government for not responding positively to proposals for negotiations and instead publicly calling for the mobilization of military. The Tigray People's Liberation Front for expanding its own military campaign into the Afar and Amhara regions and neighboring Eritrean defense forces for re-entering Tigray. This is all gravely concerning to all of us. These developments are eroding the unity, the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of the Ethiopian state, said Richard Mills, Deputy U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Guterres said more than 2 million people have been displaced in the conflict and millions more need aid, including food, water, shelter and healthcare. Adding at least 400,000 people are living in famine-like conditions. I am Eunice Momo on Prime Report with ABC Amba News.
Don't you hate it when that happens to you? When it does, you need this and this and this. When it happens to me, I always know where to go. When you've got professionals on your side, your problems don't stand a chance. What are you waiting for? Contact them today and let them take care of your problems.
And in business news, our economic analyst, Dr. Ngwambe, on his series on business reports, states what will make you a millionaire this year, 2021, and beyond. In this report, he unveils 3 interesting business avenues you should have your eyes on if you're interested in investing. Dr. Ngwambe, over to you.
On business ideas that will make more millionaires and billionaires in Africa this 2021 and beyond, I promise to bring you 3 today. Let's get started. Number 1, retail. Africa's retail market is a multi-billion-dollar business opportunity. In addition to its over 1 billion population, more Africans are buying stuff due to their growing economies, rising middle class, and rapid urbanization. Africa's retail market is going through a monumental shift. Retail is gradually moving away from informal trading in open markets to organized retail in shopping malls and online stores. Africa's homegrown supermarket chains like ShopRite, Game, Woolworths, and Nakumatt are entering more countries and are spreading fast across the continent. The growth in Africa's online retail market is very breathtaking. Jumia, one of Africa's fastest growing online retail businesses, is now worth more than $500 billion. With the presence in several African countries including Egypt, Cote d'Ivoire, and Nigeria, Jumia is now regarded as the Amazon of Africa. Another online retail market with a breakthrough is Konga. It was ranked the #1 top startup in Nigeria by Startup Country Rankings for the year 2015. Other promising new entrants include Dealday and Kemu. It should be noted that Konga merged with Udala to form a bigger brand. Despite the boom in online retail in Africa, this segment currently makes up less than 5% of the continent's entire retail market. There's still a lot of room in this space to serve the African market, and a lot of money will be made in the process. Number 2, fashion and beauty. Africa's fashion and beauty market is developing at an impressive rate. The continent's overwhelmingly young population provides a ready market for trendy fashion. All kinds of apparel, including locally made fabrics and imported designer labels, have become hot-selling products across Africa's rapidly expanding urban areas. Africa has hundreds of rising stars who are building successful businesses in the fashion and beauty industry. I'll share a few interesting examples with you. Suzy Wakabi is one of Africa's leading entrepreneurs breaking into the beauty and personal care market, a sector that is dominated by international giants like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, and Mary Kay. Suzy Beauty, the cosmetic business she started over 7 years ago in Kenya, has become hugely successful. Kunmi Oti Toju is another inspiring entrepreneur who has built a successful business with her luxury label Minku. Her young business makes high-quality leather bags designed with Aso Oke fabric, a hand-loomed cloth woven by Nigeria's Yoruba people. Her unique designs have become a major hit in high-end stores in Nigeria. The list of promising African entrepreneurs who are building successful businesses in the fashion industry is quite impressive. This would be an interesting industry to watch for. Number 3, real estate. The demand for both residential and commercial real estate continues to grow across Africa. However, there is still a huge accommodation shortage. In countries like Nigeria, for example, over 16 million new houses need to be built to solve Nigeria's serious housing problem. The estimated cost of providing these homes stands at a whopping $350 billion. We will be coming up with more in our next newscast. Until then, I'm Dr. Ngwambe on Prime Reports with ABC Amba News.
And now for sports news. Manchester United appears delighted to confirm that the club has reached an agreement with Juventus for the transfer of Cristiano Ronaldo, subject to the agreement of personal terms, visa, and medical. Our sports reporter Sylvia Bright has this story.
All the twists and turns of a summer-long transfer saga condensed into the space of a few days. Cristiano Ronaldo seemed destined for the Etihad Stadium, but now an even more remarkable story is unfolding as he returns to Manchester United. Manchester United have agreed a £19 million deal to bring Cristiano Ronaldo back to Old Trafford from Juventus. Portuguese star scored 118 goals in 292 games for the club between 2003 and 2009, winning 3 Premier League titles and the Champions League. Will he enjoy success there second time around? It is 12 years since his departure, 12 years during which he has scored 551 goals in 572 appearances for Real Madrid and Juventus, adding 4 more Champions Leagues to the one he claimed with Manchester United and a whole lot more besides. His return is a thrilling and emotive prospect for supporters. Ronaldo is still adored at Old Trafford, his name still sung in terraces, and his achievement still a source of considerable pride. More on soccer. Sevilla defender Jules Koundé's potential transfer to Chelsea is hanging in the balance as the La Liga side hold out for more than 43 million for the player. A deal close to that figure has already been agreed, but Sevilla are now thought to be asking for nearer the player's £68.5 million release clause. The Spanish club turned down a €55 million offer from a Premier League side last summer and are also keen to line up a replacement before they let Koundé go. The 22-year-old France international wants the Stamford Bridge move to be finalized before the transfer deadline and has not traveled with the Sevilla squad for their game at Elche on Saturday evening, staying in Paris. A £25 million free and personal terms have been agreed and Zuma has had his medical, but the deal has not been completed yet. One source has told Sky Sports News that Chelsea are reluctant to let Zuma go if they feel they are going to miss out on Koundé. Silver Bright with Prime Report, ABC Amba News.
That's all the news we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to ABC Amba TV News. My name is Cynthia Williams. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned.